Today our topic is the connection between Stoicism and Buddhism. At first glance, these two philosophies might seem very different. One comes from ancient Greece and Rome, and the other from ancient India and Asia. But when you look closer, you will find that Stoicism and Buddhism share many ideas that can help us live better lives. Both philosophies teach us how to deal with suffering, how to find peace, and how to focus on what truly matters. Let's explore these connections and see what we can learn from them. First, let's talk about suffering. Both Stoicism and Buddhism agree that suffering is a big part of life. In Buddhism, this is called dukkha, which means that life is often filled with pain, dissatisfaction, and struggle. The Buddha taught that suffering comes from our desires and attachments. We want things to be a certain way, and when they are not, we feel unhappy. Stoicism also teaches that suffering comes from our own minds. The Stoics believed that we cannot control what happens to us, but we can control how we react to it. If we let go of our desire for things to be different, we can find peace. Both philosophies tell us that suffering is not caused by the world around us, but by how we think about the world. Next, let's talk about how both Stoicism and Buddhism teach us to focus on the present moment. In Buddhism, this is called mindfulness. The Buddha taught that we should pay attention to what is happening right now, without getting lost in thoughts about the past or future. This helps us stay calm and clear-headed. Stoicism also teaches us to focus on the present. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, we should always be asking ourselves, is this something that is, or is not, in my control? If it is not in our control, we should let it go. If it is in our control, we should act on it. Both philosophies remind us that the present moment is all we have, and we should make the most of it. Another important connection between Stoicism and Buddhism is their focus on inner peace. In Buddhism, the goal is to reach a state of enlightenment, where we are free from suffering and see the world clearly. This requires us to let go of our ego, our selfish desires, and our attachment to material things. Stoicism also teaches us to find inner peace by focusing on what is within our control and letting go of what is not. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." Both philosophies teach us that true happiness comes from within, not from the world around us. Now, let's talk about how both Stoicism and Buddhism teach us to accept things as they are. In Buddhism, this is called acceptance. The Buddha taught that we should not fight against reality, but accept it as it is. This does not mean we should give up or stop trying to improve our lives, but we should not be upset when things do not go our way. Stoicism also teaches us to accept reality. The Stoic philosopher Seneca said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." This means that we often make ourselves unhappy by worrying about things that may never happen. Both philosophies tell us that accepting reality is the first step to finding peace. Another important idea that Stoicism and Buddhism share is the importance of compassion and kindness. In Buddhism, compassion is one of the most important virtues. The Buddha taught that we should care for all living beings and try to reduce their suffering. Stoicism also teaches us to be kind and compassionate. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What is not good for the swarm is not good for the bee." This means that we should think about the good of the whole community, not just ourselves. Both philosophies teach us that we are all connected, and we should treat others with kindness and respect. Finally, let's talk about how both Stoicism and Buddhism teach us to live a simple life. In Buddhism, this is called simplicity. The Buddha taught that we should not be attached to material things or wealth. Instead, we should focus on what is truly important, like our relationships and our inner peace. Stoicism also teaches us to live a simple life. The Stoic philosopher Seneca said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor. This means that we should be happy with what we have, and not always want more. Both philosophies teach us that a simple life is a happy life. So, what can we learn from the connection between Stoicism and Buddhism? First, we can learn that suffering is a part of life, but we can reduce it by changing how we think. Second, we can learn to focus on the present moment and let go of things we cannot control. Third, we can learn to find inner peace by accepting reality and focusing on what is within our control. Fourth, we can learn to be kind and compassionate to others. And finally, we can learn to live a simple life and be happy with what we have. These are powerful lessons that can help us live better lives. In conclusion, Stoicism and Buddhism may come from different parts of the world, but they share many important ideas. Both philosophies teach us how to deal with suffering, how to find peace, and how to focus on what truly matters. By learning from these ancient traditions, we can find ways to live happier, more meaningful lives. Whether you are interested in Stoicism, Buddhism, or both, these teachings can help you navigate the challenges of life with wisdom and grace. Remember, the key to a good life is not in the world around us, but in how we think and act. As the Stoics and Buddhists teach us, true happiness comes from within.